Hello, friends and residency candidates, and welcome to today's success story interview, where I have the pleasure of speaking with Arun, who is a matched non-US IMG in pediatrics. So, hello and welcome.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
Wonderful. So, can you tell us a little bit more about your match, which program you got into?
Absolutely. I matched into the St. Peter's University Hospital program in New Jersey for pediatrics.
Wonderful. And where did you end up going to medical school?
I did medical school at the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland, in Bahrain, and I graduated in 2019.
Great. And what influenced your decision to go to that specific medical school?
Well, I'll be very honest with you, and I feel a lot of people can share this experience as well. I mean, getting into medical schools, especially in like big countries like the UK, for example, can be demanding and it can be tough. And I was not, I was an average high school student as well, so my options were pretty limited. Luckily, RCSI Bahrain did give me a shot to go to med school and to learn over there.
Wonderful. How was your experience when you actually got there? What did you think of the education that you were receiving?
Honestly, I was thoroughly and pleasantly surprised because it was structured. I was able to integrate myself at my pace. I was able to learn on a gradual level. And, it honestly was a lot of fun because I was able to figure out myself as well, sort of mature through the years and learn a little bit more about the curriculum, about what medicine is and what it means as well. So I'm always thankful to RCSI Bahrain for that opportunity.
What's something that you feel, what as an aspect of yourself that you worked on or that you feel like really developed throughout your medical education?
I feel that within myself, I'd say first thing that comes to mind is personality. I was always a very shy, sort of very underconfident kid going into med school, but med school sort of really brought out the sort of public speaking, sort of being able to communicate with others appropriately and confidently. Um, I really appreciate the fact that there was a lot of opportunity to go out there and put yourself out there, which I feel that it's important, in
Yeah,
medicine especially.
definitely. And so when you were getting ready to apply for residency or just thinking about it, what was going through your mind? At what point did you decide that you were going to pursue residency in the US? And when did pediatrics, really start to become a field that you were interested in?
When I started to apply, the first words out of my out of my mouth was, "Oh my God, this is happening." I mean, there were a lot of different checkpoints coming up ahead, and it definitely was nerve-wracking, very anxiety-inducing as well in terms of, am I going to finish this and am I going to get through it? Um,
Mhm.
but I just remembered, it's just one step at a time. So I just took it one step at a time with the exams, with the application process. Obviously, there were some times where it was very difficult, but luckily I had people around me to sort of motivate me. I had people to look up to as well, which really helped. And quite honestly, with regards to pediatrics, although this is not the best of stories, but um, the reason why I decided to go into pediatrics was purely based off of one case that I had seen. It was a
Wow.
case of child abuse, actually. Until then, I was battling between maybe I wanted to do neurology or something in internal medicine. But I saw that case and everything in my mind, everything in my heart told me, you know what, I really want to do something for this child. I was a med student and it was a police case, so I couldn't do much. And we were instructed to sort of not interact with the patient at this time because they were still trying to process the papers with the police, trying to treat the child as well. But I knew I just really wanted to help the child. So then it struck me that I wanted to go into pediatrics to make an impact in in children's health, whether it be physical, mental, or even emotional health. So I felt that that's extremely important.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really rough case, but it's really inspiring to hear that that sparked, hopefully what is going to be a lifelong passion and
Absolutely.
your ability to help countless people from that. So it's really wonderful.
Thank you.
Were there things that you were doing to prepare to make yourself a strong candidate while you were in medical school or after medical school?
Absolutely. So, like I mentioned before, I always tried to, study hard and be, top of the class. And, sometimes I understand that it takes time to understand concepts and stuff. So I was never the sort of ace medical student. But I realized that the best part about the application process is that you get to show many different sides of yourself, whether it be research or volunteering or clinical experiences. There's many different ways to show who you are and why you're so passionate about what you want to do. So I started getting into research, and I just loved research because not only did it bring my passion for pediatrics, but also it helped me, strengthen my leadership skills. So in the sense that I was able to start projects, recruit people with me who work with me, sort of go through the paper structure with them, advise them, learn through my mistakes as well to be a better leader, to be a better colleague as well. So I felt that that process really helped within the application process. But equally, teaching medical students was another awesome sort of part of my application, I feel, just because I know that a lot of programs in the US really do focus on the teaching aspect with residents teaching medical students. And I mean, it was very lucky because I found that out after I started teaching. And being able to lead, graduate-led programs for medical students in med school really gave me that experience that I could carry forward towards my residency, and really help students in terms of not only with the theoretical aspect, but also in terms of how to communicate with patients and what's appropriate bedside manner, especially with kids, how to talk to them, how to help them understand what's going on. So I'm really looking forward to continuing this teaching part as well. So I felt being able to strengthen everything else around my CV sort of really helped me sort of put myself out there in better light.
Mhm. Did you feel that your application was particularly well organized or put together to help make it seem very solid and comprehensible when people were going to be reviewing it?
Sure. So I always thought that it's important to consider the residency program or the residency program committee's perspective in terms of if they were looking at an application, what would they want to see? So the best part was I was able to jot everything down, but with a colleague of mine who was going through the match process with me, I was able to share my application and show her in terms of, okay, this is what I've written. How do you feel? You know, um, I should edit it. What did you think when you read? Was it clear to you? So by going through this process, back and forth with her, and this review process with each other, we were able to sort of concisely put out information about ourselves in the most appropriate, brief, concise manner. And my friend as well, we both got matched. So I think that definitely was one of the strategies that may have helped.
Perfect. Yeah, keeping it detailed but precise, very
Yes.
helpful for the ARIS application. And when you were actually picking programs to apply to, what was the process for you? What did that look like?
To be very honest with you, my priority was not necessarily the location or the program. I felt that one of the qualities that I could bring to any program was the fact that I'm adaptable in the sense that no matter what the environment is, no matter how the program is, obviously any program to get accredited by the ACGME would definitely be of high standard. So whether it was a community hospital or a university hospital, I was ready to give my 100% no matter what, no matter where it was in the US. But it was a dream for a very long time to practice medicine in the United States. So I applied everywhere where IMGs had a chance, and I decided wherever I can go, I will take the opportunity and give it my 100%. And when it came down to ranking, the I felt the most important thing was what could I offer the program the most, because I knew every program had its pros, had amazing things that they could offer me, and it would be an honor to be able to be part of any residency program. But I ranked based off of what I felt I could give the most.
Hmm. Wow. It's a very interesting approach. So how did that change from one program to another in terms of
So
ranking?
absolutely. So I felt that you know, uh, see, this is the thing with the application process. They and one piece of advice that's very underrated is don't be afraid to say good things about yourself in the application, because I understand as medical students, and I'm sure a lot of colleagues of mine would agree. It was so hard to say some. It was easy to critique yourself in terms of I could do this better, but it's so hard to say, I am doing this very well. And so it was a hard turnaround during the application process, especially with the personal statement, and where you had to write good things about yourself. But I felt that if was able to list that out, for example, I love teaching and I have experience teaching as well. And where could I put this to use the most? That was a huge factor when it came to ranking.
Mhm. That makes a lot of sense. Can you tell us a little bit more about your interview experiences? How did those go for you?
Absolutely. So before every interview, there were definitely palpitations, the sweating. Thankfully, I was wearing a blazer, so that
Yeah.
did help cover up a little bit of the sweating. But yeah, I felt that taking a deep breath and not trying to be someone who you're not was the key. So you can, it's easy to put on a different voice, sound confident, and but it does not shine through who you really are as a person. So if you're able to tell them, for example, as I mentioned during the Q&A today morning, um, one of the questions that I got was, why is there a gap? Why is there a huge difference between your step one and your step two score?
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
so my step one score was 218 and my step two score was 247, and I saw that a lot of people were talking about their step scores in the Q&A, and they were asking about, would this matter and would this be a problem? And quite honestly, rather than giving an answer that may have not been true, I told them, I know I gave my 100% to both exams, and I understand that not every day can be my day. So the 218 is a reflection of who I am, but at the same time, the 247 is equally a reflection of who I am. I learned from my mistakes from the 218 and put it to good use, and the 247 reflects that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Do you feel like you changed anything about your preparations for step two?
absolutely. So I felt that a more balanced routine is important. So it's you can sit down, you can study, grind away for 10, 12, even 14 hours. But if you don't sort of take half an hour to go for a walk, if you don't frequently sort of stop, review what you're doing, see if there's any way you can improve, and if you don't have those checkpoints, I feel that it's easy to crash and burn and possibly not know that you're going the wrong way as well.
Right. Yeah. So really being in balance with what you're doing, making sure that you're not burning yourself out knowingly or unknowingly to know that, at
Absolutely.
the
I
end,
mean,
you have to be
burnout
able
is
to,
very real.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Definitely have to be able to integrate everything you're learning in order to apply it during the exam.
absolutely. It's really important to visualize what you're learning, especially with step two. That's, everything is so clinical. If you can picture the patient in front of you, and there's a question that asks you between a non-invasive and invasive procedure, but just by visualizing that patient in front of you, you can easily make the choice then. Would you want to immediately be sticking something into the patient, or is there a better way to identify the disease?
Perfect. So, what is some of the best advice from all your experiences so far that you would leave for future residency applicants?
For future residency applicants, there's a couple of things that I would say. One is a very cliched one, which is simply not, don't give up. There are so I will Every person who is thinking of going for this or who's in the process of this, it never goes smoothly. That's just the way it is. In terms of, there's always somewhere, somehow, there's always seeds of doubt creeping up. There's always sometimes where you feel dejected and demotivated, but that's all part of the journey. Just think of it as these are things that will make you stronger. at the end of the day. So like with no matter what happens, do not give up on your journey. The second thing is it is a lot. It is so much to do, but one step at a time. It's just as Rocky Balboa said, one step, one punch, one round at a time. That's it. You
Yeah.
got to take your time with this. Sometimes you get hit. Sometimes you got to give the hits. It's okay. You just got to keep going no matter what. Um, and thirdly, once in a while, pat yourself on the back. I mean, for those out there who are thinking about giving the step one exam or the step two exam, it is a marathon. I mean, an 8 and 9 hour exam. Med school does not do 8 and 9 hour exams, so it's a new experience. You complete that, pat yourself on the back. That is an incredible achievement. And where there's a will, there's a way. Don't ever forget that as well.